everyone. So today we're talking about Chapter 3. We're continuing and talking about fitness and physical activity movement. So here we go. Men and women of all ages are participating in fitness and sport activities to an extent not witnessed before in this country. It appears that being physically active is for many children and adults an ingrained part of American life. In 1996, Physical Activity and Health, the Surgeon General's report was released. This landmark document convincingly set forth the contribution physical activity can make to the health and lives of all people. The contribution of physical activity to health, shown in the benefits of regular physical activity box, continues to be the primary focus of the most recent Surgeon General's vision for a healthy and fit nation in 2010, and the physical activity guidelines for Americans in 2008, the U.S. National Physical Activity Plan in 2016, and the White House Childhood Obesity Task Force report. There are several key messages that are presented in these documents. People of all ages can benefit from physical activity. People can improve their health by engaging in a moderate amount of physical activity on a regular basis. And a greater health benefits can be achieved by increasing the amount of physical activity through changing the duration, frequency, or intensity of the effort. Some of the benefits of regular physical activity include reducing the risk of early death, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, adverse blood lipid profile or cholesterol, metabolic syndrome, colon and breast cancers. There's also help prevention of weight gain, and it helps with weight loss when combined with a diet, thus reducing abdominal obesity and the prevention of weight gain. Other benefits of regular physical activity. There is strong and moderate evidence that suggests that regular physical activity improves health in many different ways. It helps to increase cardiorespiratory and muscular fitness. It prevents falls, reduces depression, improves cognitive function for older adults, and functional health for older adults, as well as helping to reduce abdominal obesity. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans in the American College of Sports Medicine's Physical Activity and Public Health Guidelines recommend that children, adolescents, and adults engage in moderate to vigorous physical activity each week. Children and adolescents 16 to 17 years of age are recommended to engage in 60 minutes of moderate physical activity daily and vigorous physical activity 3 times a week. It is also recommended that they engage in muscle and bone strengthening activities 3 days a week. For adults aged 18 to 64, they are recommended to engage in moderate intensity exercise 2 hours and 30 minutes a week, vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity 75 minutes a week, or an equivalent combination of moderate and vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity each week. Aerobic activities such as brisk walking or gardening should be performed in episodes of at least 10 minutes, preferably spread throughout the week. Adults should also partake in muscle strengthening activities twice a week. The recommendation to include moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity as part of one's daily schedule represents an effort to broaden the scope of physical activity recommendations. It is hoped that with the additional opportunities to engage in beneficial physical activity, more people will participate. While participation in some cases is not of sufficient intensity to develop cardiorespiratory fitness, being physically active does yield health benefits. The emphasis on moderate to vigorous physical activity and the focus on integration of physical activity into one's lifestyle offer additional opportunities for sedentary individuals to improve their health through participation in physical activities that are enjoyable and personally meaningful and fit more easily into their daily schedule. Our nation's children and youth, are they fit? Are they participating in sufficient physical activity to gain health benefits and reduce their risk of disease? Healthy lifestyle patterns, including regular physical activity, should be developed when people are young. These lifestyle patterns are then carried into adulthood, reducing the risk of disease. People who regularly participate in moderate amounts of physical activity can live longer, healthier lives. The most recent National Physical Activity Plan provides strategies and tactics for individuals across the lifespan on how to be physically active. These strategies and tactics are within societal sectors such as business and industry, community recreation, fitness and parks, education, faith-based settings, healthcare, mass media, sport, public health and transportation, and land use and community design. The MPAP's vision is that all Americans will become physically active and that we will have safe spaces that encourage and support us in doing so. The 2015 Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System surveyed over 15,500 students to assess the presence of health risk factors. The results offer us insight into the youth's physical activity patterns and their physical education experiences. The students completed questions on their participation in physical activity during the 7 days preceding the survey. We'll go over the results here. So, about 45.6% of students reported they exercised to lose weight or to keep from gaining weight. And about 60.6% of females try to lose weight compared to 31.4% of males. So how many adults are physically active on a regular basis, and what can be done to increase the number of adults who incorporate physical activity into their lifestyle? The 2015 National Health Interview Survey reveals that participation in regular leisure time physical activity sufficient to realize health benefits has held steady during the last decade. About 49% of adults engaged in regular physical activity during their leisure time at either a moderate intensity level or at least 5 times a week for a minimum of 30 minutes, or a vigorous intensity level at least 3 times a week for 20 minutes a session. Men engage slightly more frequently in regular leisure time physical activity than women, and younger adults were more active than older adults. Differences in leisure time physical activity participation were associated with levels of education, poverty, race, and ethnicity, as you can see in this figure here. For example, higher levels of education and higher levels of income were associated with greater participation by adults, and non-Hispanic whites were more active than non-Hispanic blacks and Hispanics. For specific stats on these examples, you can go to the National Health Interview Survey website. Professionals must also become leaders in the fitness and physical activity movement and exert a significant influence on its direction. Corbin points out that medical doctors, self-appointed experts, and movie stars are at the vanguard of the movement. Many of these people lack the qualifications, training, and expertise to direct this movement. Additionally, the proliferation of products and programs related to exercise and fitness has raised some concern about their validity. Professionals have the necessary knowledge and skill and must take over the leadership responsibility within the movement. As Corbin states, in assuming the burden of leadership, we must commit to a healthy lifestyle. We must practice what we preach. Professionals should be role models and should reflect a commitment to a healthy lifestyle, with physical activity as an integral part of that lifestyle. Failure to practice what we preach damages our credibility. Findings relative to the physical activity level of the nation's youth show an urgent need for the physical activity and fitness movement to reach the children and youth of our nation. Schools should emphasize lifelong fitness, and this education should begin early in life. School-based programs must teach students the skills for lifetime participation and foster an appreciation for the value of fitness and physical activity in maintaining an optimal state of well-being. Fitness education should also extend to parents and guardians. Parent and guardian roles in shaping their children's physical activity habits should be recognized, and professionals should involve parents in creating positive physical activity patterns. Because much of children's and youth's physical activity take place outside of the school setting, school and community physical activity programs should be closely coordinated so that the maximum benefits are derived from participation. The National Physical Activity Plan, as well as the most recent Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans mid-course report, have developed guidelines for school and community programs to promote physical activity among the nation's youth. These guidelines make it clear that promoting lifelong physical activity requires a coordinated effort among the home, school, and community. Moreover, it emphasizes the inclusion of physical education as part of a comprehensive school-wide approach to promote well-being. This is true for serving both children and adults. Family members are an important role models for physical activity involvement. However, an increasing number of children in single-parent families, many of whom are at risk for poor school outcomes, may not have the parental support for involvement. Besides fitness promotion, structured physical fitness programs can affect many risk factors associated with the problems of at-risk youth. Properly designed and led by committed leaders, programs can increase well-being, enhance self-esteem, and teach important life skills such as goal setting, planning, and values development. Socioeconomic status is a significant influence on participation in physical activity. Individuals who come from affluent backgrounds have greater involvement than those from less affluent circumstances. They have more disposable income than they can use to support their involvement in fitness and sport. Children, youth, and adults from lower economic strata have fewer resources available. Their limited resources, money, energy, and time must be spent on securing the necessities of life: food, shelter, clothing, safety, and medical care. There is little left for the crucial activities of life, such as exercise and sports. Even access to physical activity programs that are affordable may be difficult for those living in low-income neighborhoods. The relatively poor health of people in lower socioeconomic groups may also limit their participation. Compared to those who are wealthier, those who are poor have less control over their lives, encounter greater stress, receive less social support from others, and must deal with the realization that they are deprived. As professionals, we must understand these inequities, the strong feelings they evoke, and the strategies that can be effectively employed to change the situation. Barriers such as cultural beliefs, financial constraints, physical limitations, and unsafe neighborhoods influence participation in physical activity. Prejudice and discrimination needlessly limit opportunities. Addressing disparities and participation in inequities and opportunities requires that professionals make a commitment to challenging the status quo and working to increase opportunities for underserved populations. Equity-oriented physical educators, exercise scientists, and sport leaders are needed if we are going to achieve our goal of lifespan involvement in physical activity for all people. And that is it for today, guys. We have one more part to our chapter 3. We'll be talking about more of social talking points as well as current trends. I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day.